Do I have to do all the formal stuff? Thank you. Well, good morning, and I think I know everybody here. Do y'all know me? Okay, just checking to make sure. So today we're going to talk about seller pricing. Seller pricing strategies, I think, is a technical name we put on the class, but really this is about finding motivated sellers and helping them get their home sold. And it's presented by me. There's all kinds of fancy contact information for me, and we will go on to the next slide because I think y'all all know how to get in touch with me. So throughout the course of the day, my style of teaching is to be interactive, so you all have to talk back. Actually, you get to talk back. Maybe that's another good way to put it. And we're going to do a lot of different things together to kind of keep you engaged. What I don't want to do is have you at hour 2, wanting to jab sharp objects into your eyes because you're so bored. So there's going to be a lot of up and down. We're going to do a lot of activities. We have kind of a small group, so some of the activities we'll just do as one group. Some of them are more entertaining when you have lots of people, but y'all are entertaining people, so I think we'll get through those things. So first quote, real interesting. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. Some of you may have heard that before, from Ralph maybe. I think it might be on the wall somewhere around here. So that being said, we're going to start off with a little bit of an icebreaker, just to kind of get the fun mode started. And we're going to have, not of Greenville, North Carolina, but the Rock, Paper, Scissors Championship of the North Raleigh office. So, first of all, does everybody know how to play rock, paper, scissors? Are you yes, no, maybe? No. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay. Paper covers the rock, rock breaks the scissors, scissors cut the paper. So the way that we're going to do this, and y'all are all looking at me like I have 3 heads, and that's normally what happens. The way that we're going to do this is everybody's going to stand up, you're going to find a partner. Play with your partner, best 2 out of 3. If you lose, have a seat. And we will keep going until we have one person that remains standing. And Linda, you get to play 2.
I'm more than
2,
willing.
4, 6, 7. We're missing, someone came and went.
Yes.
What's that?
No, I don't think so. No?
I was sitting here beside me.
There was, wasn't there?
Was it Amy?
It was Amy. Yeah. Oh, Amy's going to miss out on rock, paper, scissors.
I will wait for Amy to come back since everybody can pair up.
Okay, so with a small number of people in a room, how many of y'all have taught before, like to teach classes? Okay, so with a small number of people, you have to work really hard to get the energy level up. It takes a lot more effort, so I need y'all's help with this.
We are in.
You're in. Okay, so stand up and play rock, paper, scissors. Go right ahead.
Let's do it. All right.
I knew I could count on Colleen. I knew it.
I've never played.
Okay, so it's 1, 2, you shoot it.
Yes,
Okay.
on the 3rd, baby, on the 3rd. You can't be premature here.
1, 2, 3.
Ooh, still wait. Next.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay, gotcha.
Okay,
How many
so
times do you do it? Twice?
That's 2 out of 3.
Okay.
So turn around, because there's your next partner.
All right.
And so by default, Linda, whoever, well, you get buys.
Oh.
You're going to get like 3 buys. You're going to be playing for the champion.
Oh, she didn't say that. Take a seat.
Oh, Amy's here. Okay, so who won? You guys go ahead and
Here's my
play.
partner. Am I your partner? You're my partner.
Oh, no.
We're doing rock, scissors, paper.
Oh, fun. Okay, you ready? Ready?
Oh, man.
All right.
I ain't got a champion.
Okay, so did one of y'all win?
She did.
That's 2 out of 3. Okay, so,
She won that? Okay.
oh yeah, this is for the big championship of 2468.
I know, I feel
The
like
North Raleigh office.
She has that like.
So, who won? You won.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You get a special prize.
I did.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this seems a little weird. All right, how many, is this kind of awkward, a little weird? We're going to teach a real estate class and we're going to do rock, paper, scissors.
Not at all.
A couple of real interesting lessons in this, just that I've taken away from doing this exercise. How many of y'all have a little competitive problem? Just a little competitive like me? Okay. Okay, how many of you, when we started this, just knew that you were absolutely going to win? Okay, absolutely. Okay, so 2. 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which is real interesting because if you think about it, it kind of models the real estate market right now. Okay, there's 6,500 agents in the Triangle, right? About that right? Okay. Are you competing against all 6,500? Who are you competing against?
Myself.
Well, yourself, but maybe really the 2 out of 7 or 8, so the 25, 16, 20% that really want to win. Okay, it's a much narrower field than you'd expect. So out of 6,500, maybe you're competing against 1,000. Not all 6,500, so it's a much smaller field. Does that make sense? So just a little takeaway from the icebreaker, something to have fun with. Okay, let's go on to kind of the next component. This is really straightforward. This is the boilerplate, let's be polite in class, show up on time, do the activities. So my big question though is I love to raise money for Keller Williams Cares. So if your cell phone goes off during class, rings, vibrates, whatever, how much is the fine? Oh yeah, vibrates, yeah, because there's another component to this. But what's the fine going to be? What's the donation to Keller Williams Cares going to be?
$25.
$25. Okay, everybody agree with that?
No.
I'll pay in 2 seconds as soon as I get my phone off.
Good man. Good man. Now, I did put in a word to Lizette to make sure she texted one of you in the middle of this. Okay, so if it's $25 if it rings. Now, if you jump up and run out of the room and answer it, then we just automatically double it. It's going to be $50. Deal?
Uh-oh.
Fair enough?
Wow. Do we have a break?
Maybe. No, there is a break. And, do feel free to get up. If you need to go use the restroom or anything, please go ahead and do that. But,
But don't be taking your phone with you.
Well, what I don't want to see is the ringing of the phone and the running and trying to answer it at the same time. So the other big component here, 2 things. Number 1, help each other learn. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of collaboration in this class. And then in addition to that, this is a safe environment. Okay, so ask whatever you want to ask, bring up whatever you want to bring up. There is no subject relating to helping sellers get their home sold that's taboo here. If you have questions about anything, and I may not have the answer, I'm going to tell you right now, but we have a lot of people in the room, we have a lot of real estate experience in the room, so we want to draw from that. Fair enough? Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, we're very interactive. So here's my first question for you all. What do you want to get out of today? What do we have to accomplish in the next 2 hours and 40 minutes so that you walk away going, wow, that was a great use of my time? Yes.
Dialogue to use with sellers to get them to price their house competitively.
Pricing dialogues. Okay, what else?
Mine kind of goes along with that about price corrections.
Okay.
They've been on the market for a couple weeks, no showings, that whole thing.
So price corrections, reductions. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
What I have seen, at least just the way, is that there's different stages of a seller putting their house on the market.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is there's the denial of my house is not worth that, and it's the anger and the frustration, and then they get to the reality.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is that it seems like for some people, that's a shorter stage, for other people it is a longer stage.
Absolutely.
And where I get frustrated is those people where, perfect example, I went out and listed a house 2 weeks ago, I said it needs to be at 199. I want to be at 219.
Mm-hmm.
We agreed at 209, and I basically said it needs to be at 199 or it's not going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wasted time.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I've shown them all the graphs, we've discussed all the topics about the first 30, 60, 90 days,
Mhm.
it's going in deaf ears because they're not at that stage of reality yet.
Sure.
So I don't know how to advance that stage of reality so that they will listen.
Okay. Okay. So stages of house on the market and dealing.
Because it may be a
With
matter of
reality.
me saying something differently, but it's when you're dealing with like people that are saying, no, this is where we want to try it, but I know they're wasting time and they're going to lose money in the end.
Okay. So how do you deal with that? Okay. No more wasted time. I have great handwriting for those of you that can't tell. So I can decipher this, but you may not be able to. What other questions? What other things do you want to learn today? So we hit these 3, we've hit the ball out of the park.
Are there tools or graphs or anything like that that we could use?
Absolutely.
Do you use the market overview?
We're going to get into
Fantastic.
all of this.
Absolutely fantastic. Because when you show somebody this graph and you say only 14% of houses are going to sell, and do you want yours to be in that 14% or not? And they go,
See, I'd love to
Yeah.
see what that's about.
Okay, yeah, we're going to go through all of that. And before we get there, we're going to start kind of on the back end of this with some psychology. I like to go kind of the very beginning of the story. And so a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today will set you up so that you don't waste time, so that you can use the graphs and those things effectively. So anything else? Or is, yes, sir?
Yeah, actually finding these motivated sellers.
Okay. I'm going to stick that right in here.
Heated discussions of the pricing, and they're not going along with what we're suggesting, then it's because we haven't found that motivated seller that we need to be talking to in the first place.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. Okay.
And I think the other thing I'd like to briefly talk about, because I know it's mainly, you know, obviously the pricing and stuff, but right now buyers ask for everything,
Mm-hmm.
and it's repairs are fun,
Mm-hmm.
especially from the sales side when,
True.
you know, so I think maybe touching on that would be good as well.
Okay. Repairs
Why are you looking at me?
and greedy. Can I put in quotes, greedy buyers?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? This is y'all's class, okay? So my goal is that that y'all walk out here and go, wow, that was such a good use of time. The next time I come teach it, we have like 3 times as many people here, because that'd be fun too. Right, so anything else? Or have I beaten this enough? Okay, we'll move on then. The blank stares are starting to come like, well, what else is there to talk about? You're right. All right. So here are the things that I came up with. Number one, the main objective is to make sure that listings that you take are priced effectively by functioning as a great consultant. Okay? So the main learning points here are, number one, identifying motivated sellers by being a great consultant. You see there's a theme here? Then learning how to analyze the market yourself, understanding the psychology of today's seller, which gets a little bit into Colleen's points, effectively explaining the market to the seller, and then ensuring that the seller accurately prices their own home by being a great consultant. Do you think that's possible? For the seller to come up with the price on their own?
They do all the time.
Okay. How about for them to come up with an accurate price?
Oh,
Oh, no.
Right? Okay, so I'm going to give you some
Depends on their
tools.
mindset at that point.
Okay, it does. It does. It depends a lot on their mindset. So I'm going to give you the tools that you need to accomplish that. So literally the seller can choose the price on their own. Okay? Then ultimately you'll have a decision to make as a consultant as to whether or not you want to take on that listing inventory. But we'll get to that. That's another part of the story. So what does it take to sell a house? Right? Now this is a PowerPoint slide out of one of my first listing presentations. Has all this kind of cool stuff flying out at you. Mostly it bothers sellers. That's what I've learned, but real estate agents think it's cool. Takes a lot of stuff, right? These are all the different components that go into getting a home sold. Agreed? Well, which one's most important? Pricing. Okay, y'all have lived with the market for a little while, you're right. Number one, though, is a motivated seller. Because if your seller is not motivated, are they ever going to price it right? No, they're not, okay? So then it's pricing. What do you think comes after pricing? Pricing.
yeah.
Pricing.
I was going to say pricing.
And presentation. Well, we'll give you one more P in there. So the bottom line, and this is a little cheesy, but I think he's kind of hilarious, is that price trumps everything. Okay, the only way that you can really affect the value of the home immediately and quickly is to change the price. Does that make sense? Because the house may need $100,000 worth of work, and then it really would be worth $400,000. But isn't it a lot faster just to drop the price to $300,000 or $280,000? Does that make sense, to make up that $100,000? Okay, so y'all are all, let's see, some of y'all are really experienced realtors. They've been around for a while, sold a lot of real estate. Some of you are really experienced salespeople. Okay, y'all are great salespeople? Yes? All of you? Okay, so we're gonna put this to the test. Okay, so another exercise, another stand up. This is a little bit more easy to understand how it relates. But what I want you to do is partner up, and I want you to sell your pen to your partner. Okay, I'm gonna give you about a minute each, and then I'll tell you to switch and switch partners. And I want to see who can get their pen sold. Y'all understand? Everybody understands? Yes. Okay, so y'all ready? Everybody's looking at me very strangely again. This is the fun part of teaching this class. Everybody looks at you like, what? Where are we going with this? Okay, go ahead and stand up and sell your pen to your partner. Find a partner, sell a
Then
pen.
do your partner. Okay. Because the salesperson.
Stand up.
First,
Stand up.
okay.
Michael, yes.
So I was gonna ask you a couple of questions. I don't hit my homework.
Well, do you have a pen?
I don't.
Well, see, if you don't have one, you really need to have one so you're prepared for the day. Well, not everything is available to this through the computer. I mean, hear me out for a second, okay? Let me tell you why this pen is fabulous, okay? Writes well, never smudges. Not only that, you can market yourself at the same time.
I have something that you might use.
You can order these pens, they're very cost effective, and you can put whatever you want to on there to represent yourself. People love these, it's a little token, you can give them out. I give them out, you go to someone's house, you leave them there, it's a fabulous marketing tool, but also they carry it, they think of you, and it reminds you of them. So it's a great thing, but I love it because frankly, it's more.
Okay, let's go ahead and switch partners now. It's been about a minute.
Okay, sell me a pen. Well,
You sold it? Awesome, congratulations.
you can buy one. Okay,
That's a good thing.
There's a lot of pens in them.
there are.
So who's selling to who now? Switch partners. You need- Oh, yeah, tell where you're been now.
So one of the tags is not much longer. And what some of them do that are like, please come up with something where actually what does it cap. Put it on your shirt.
And it won't leak.
So last thing I mentioned, but not just protection. You can also use it to make
Okay, let's go ahead and grab a seat.
I may have to buy some of these pens.
Who was successful? Who bought a pen? Did anybody buy a pen today? Okay, awesome. So y'all are great salespeople, right?
Right.
So we're driving on towards something here. So let me ask you a
I had to
question.
buy one to make my presentation.
As you all
You would buy
think
it.
about this, how many of y'all started with questions? How many of you, the first thing out of your mouth was, what was your first question?
I asked her what she was looking for in a pen,
Uh-huh.
and then also what her uses were going to be for the pen.
Okay, so that's a pretty good start.
Before I even showed her my pen.
Well, that's good. I like it. So how many of you all did this?
Throw up.
Show up and throw up. Okay? Now, I put that up there for a very specific reason. I want to burn that image into the retinas of your eyes so that you remember it. And many of you all who may have started at a more traditional real estate company, this is your listing presentation day one, right? You got the flip book, and you got told, go tell them how great our company is, and they'll list with you, and you'll have a great real estate career. Anybody ever heard that before? Am I the only one? Really? Come on, Linda, I know you heard that before. Okay, so that's what we have been taught to do in the sales environment, is to show up and throw up, right? Have you seen that before? I mean, you've been in B2B sales, right? So you get this part. It's a little different in business to business. But do y'all like it when people do this to you?
No.
Like, how does that feel? Somebody knocks on your door at home, and all of a sudden they're spewing information on you about some sort of cleaning product that will clean everything, right? You like that? Or you show up at the car dealership, and the car guy is telling you all the wonderful features of this great vehicle, and he doesn't have a clue, or she doesn't have a clue, what you're looking for, okay? So remember this, and don't do this, okay? So I want to talk a little bit about being a consultant versus being just an agent or just a salesperson. So in my opinion, these are kind of some highlights here. As a consultant, you ask a lot of questions so that you can figure out what it is that your client needs. I heard a great saying from Diana Kokoska that prescription without diagnosis is malpractice, right? That's what happens to doctors. When you try and sell a pen by not asking a bunch of questions, that could be considered malpractice. So maybe the questions ought to sound like, hi, I'm CB, how are you doing today? You are?
Colleen,
Colleen, what business are you in?
I am in the wonderful business of real estate.
Real
Would
estate?
you like for me to sell your home?
Maybe, actually. I actually might need more help buying a home right now.
Perfect.
But we can talk about this. So let me ask you a question. In your business, do you write a lot? Do you have a use for pens?
Every day.
Every day? Really? Well, that's fascinating. So where do you typically get your pens?
We order them through a marketing guy.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking you all these weird questions is because I'm in the pen business right now. And I was just curious, would you happen to be in the market to buy a pen or a certain type of pen?
We're always in the market. to buy
Always
pens.
in the market, okay. So what do you think you'd be interested in if you were going to buy a pen today?
Well, I'm very happy with the pen that I have.
Okay,
but I would say it would probably have to be very similar,
Mhm.
maybe priced a little bit better if in fact I was gonna change.
Okay, so could we sit down maybe tomorrow and have coffee for 30 to 45 minutes and take a look at the different varieties of pens that I do sell and kind of check out the pricing?
Sure.
Okay, and what is the price of that pen when you normally purchase it?
You know, I'd have to check, I'm not sure.
Okay, so you'll get the point though. It's a different dialogue because you may be, well, this is the greatest pen since, you know, pens were made. And they're like, yeah, but I don't need one. I need a magic marker. Why, you know, why are you selling me the pen? So y'all get the point. A couple other things, consultants, client focused, agents are deal focused. Have y'all gotten that feel from people before where they just have to get that next sale? Some of it's ego driven, some of it's wallet driven. There's no telling, but it's got to be about the clients as opposed to about yourself. So you can kind of go through, y'all can read those. I'm not going to read each and every one to you, but y'all get a general picture about the difference between being a consultant and being an agent. Okay, good.
Plus, when anybody says they're a consultant for any form of company, they usually make a little more money.
Yeah, they usually do. They usually do. So ultimately, if you're being just a salesperson, you're really being what I call transactionally based. Okay, because you're just looking for that next deal. And when you're transactionally based, you're going to make bad decisions for you, bad decisions for your client, bad decisions for your business, and ultimately you're only focused on the short term. Does this make sense? Okay.